At a time when we have more information than ever, we have fewer and fewer good news organizations to share it. Our team wants to present a solution to this in Canada that can be scaled up globally. We know that the hollowing out of news diversity is a problem around the world. It lowers accountability, it increases public spending, it decreases competition in local mayoral races, it increases social division, and it also increases reliance on national news coverage. When this happens, we're more likely to know what's going on in Washington, Westminster, Ottawa, and Brasilia than what's happening in our own communities. Politics feels distant and polarization thrives. Over the past couple of decades in Canada, it's clear that local news organizations have been on the decline. And over the same period, that polarization has been increasing. My colleague Kieran will now be telling you what the Canadian government is trying to do about it.
Canada's federal government has tried to boost local news organizations using a digital news subscriptions tax credit. However, this hasn't been terribly successful so far. The reason is that this policy is overly prescriptive. It doesn't encourage innovative and sustainable business models, particularly for local news organizations, and it's vulnerable to repeal by future governments from different political parties. We propose an alternative solution, a voucher that Canadian consumers can use at point of purchase for up to 2 local news subscriptions each and every year. This solution is less prescriptive, it's easier to use, it's less vulnerable to repeal, and it encourages innovation through market principles for the most innovative news organizations, particularly those offering local news coverage. Implementing this solution would require a new Future of Journalism and Democracy Fund, as well as an arm's-length agency and an independent body of media experts to help govern eligibility requirements.
There are 4 political considerations we have to take into account when implementing this policy. The first consideration is the fact that political and partisan interests may interfere in the determination of eligibility. The second consideration is the fact that organizations may be disincentivized from criticizing the government that funds them. The third consideration we have to take into account is that organizations may not have secured funding across or within governments depending on political interests. And fourthly, we have to be sure that we can define what is actually local news. We mitigate these political concerns by ensuring that this program is managed by an independent organization that is publicly accountable and enables capacity building within local organizations and has a clearly defined process on what is actually local news.
Lastly, our voucher has global applicability. As we have discussed, the decline of local news is not exclusive to Canada. Rather, it is a global issue. Countries abroad can implement our voucher system and customize it to fit their own local context. Ultimately, by bolstering local news, we aim to combat polarization worldwide. Thank you.